How many times have you been in a meeting and somebody with an aggressive tone asks you a question, maybe puts you on the spot? How do you respond? If you're not prepared, you might let your emotions get the best of you and you might end up kind of butting heads. Now, if I'm a participant in the meeting, I kind of enjoy watching that, but if I'm on the receiving end, not so much. So how do we deal with an aggressive question? How do we deal with a question that almost feels like they're attacking us? There's a process we can use for dealing with these hostile type situations. We can acknowledge the speaker, we can transition, and then we can respond. When we acknowledge the speaker, we need to make sure that we understand their point of view. And you could say, I understand where you're coming from, but we want to be careful because we hear a lot of people say, I understand, and we want to try to think outside that box. We can acknowledge the person by saying, I hear what you're saying. I understand your point of view. And the key to making this work is adding that depth, using the word because. It's the most persuasive cause and effect word, giving that depth. I understand where you're coming from. I can appreciate your point of view because I've been in those situations, because I know people who have been there and done that as well. When we transition, here's the key. We need to scratch our butts. What does that mean? That means don't use the word but when you transition. What does that do? It negates everything you said. You don't actually understand the other person's point of view. You want to get your point of view across. So we want to transition with a pause or transition with the word and. Then when we respond, there's two ways we can do this. We can either give the answer. I've got the response. I have exactly what I want to say. I want to give you the information you need. Or I've got to ask you some questions. I need to know more about what it is that you're asking so that I can better address your question. That's the process we want to use when we're dealing with a hostile audience member, a hostile question, or maybe it feels like we're on the attack. We want to acknowledge the speaker, transition without using but, and then respond to that speaker. And we got to keep in control of our emotions so we don't let the situation get out of hand.